Hey maggots, and welcome to our holiday cooking series. Now, hopefully you're gonna find this both informative and entertaining, kind of like our show, except for the part when Dawn talks. We call that filler. So here's the idea. Whether you've been doing this forever or you've never done it, entertaining and cooking for groups of people is intimidating to everyone and nerve-wracking. Even people like me that have been doing it for 25 years. It's exhilarating, but you're still anxious and nervous. You want to get everything right. If you're a novice, if you're nervous, if you've never hosted before, I promise you, if you follow my recipes and instructions, everything's going to be fine. Now, if you're a little more advanced, make it fun. That's what cooking is all about. Take my recipes and go, I think this would make Rob's recipe a little better. I want to try this. All of my recipes came from someone else's ideas and then I added to them. That's the fun of cooking. Also, keep in mind, if you see me cooking for, say, servings of 2 or 4, and you're like, wait a minute, I have to serve 12 people, just triple everything. Also, if you get overwhelmed by the measurements, Google is fantastic at helping you with the conversions. Another trick, if you're using an oven and you only have one oven, remember, if you put more than one thing in that oven, everything cooks slower. And finally, remember the most important thing about having fun when you're cooking: alcohol. Let's cook. Hey anybody, welcome to the next edition of our holiday cooking series. I'm here today with my crazy mother, because we're making Crazy Mom's stuffing dressing recipe thing.
It's not stuffing, it's
right.
Dressing.
It's not, people have given you crap about that over the years.
Yes.
Because stuffing comes out of the bird, and we don't believe that you should cook it inside of a bird.
No, I do not, and particularly this recipe, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna get all sorts of horrid emails if you make this and try to stuff it in the bird.
You shouldn't be doing that under any recipe, because you get, it's turkey
It's disgusting.
grease. That's just not what so this is dressing. And the nice thing about this recipe is, although I've never made it, which is the point of this video, Mom's gonna teach me. It's like 30 years ago when you were teaching me how to cook steakums and Totino's pizza and fried bologna and things like that.
All that gross stuff.
Let's start with what you're gonna need. This is easy, you can buy this anywhere.
Yes and no. This is not what I prefer to use, but at this time of the year, you can't get cubed, they call it stuffing mix, like you can during the holidays. So
Now,
this is my next best thing.
Note to viewer, we're filming this outside of the holiday season. So if you're watching this the week of Thanksgiving going, what the fuck is she talking about? Is this why they call her crazy? It's a couple months before the holidays as we film this for you so that this could be prepared for the time. So this works in a pinch, but in the holidays you look for something called traditional.
It usually comes in a bag and it's cubed.
All right, and we want a whole box of this, as the recipe states. Now I do have a question already because I've read your recipe. Your recipe says 6 Italian sausages. I only see 5 Italian sausages in this package.
I tried to save you money. Why buy 2 packages? 5 will be fine.
5 will work. All right.
It'll work.
We have an entire stick of butter. We'll show you what to do with that later. Chicken broth, store-bought is fine. Onion, celery, and I noticed that instead of real garlic, we're using minced garlic out of a jar, so I assume that's acceptable for those that don't like to deal with garlic.
And it does say in the recipe.
Check out my mom's hands. They're not all veiny and stuff. You know why? She's got gloves on. Why are you wearing gloves? Is this a sanitary thing?
No, I have to mush up the Italian sausage.
Oh, you're gonna do some work here. Cool.
Who wants all that gook under their fingernails? And any woman that has long fingernails will know what I mean.
I forgot to mention, if you're gonna cook with your mother, drink. Okay, so what's the first step?
So you'll be in great shape by 3 or 4 o'clock.
I've already got the oven preheated to 325 degrees. That's in the recipe.
All right, the first thing we're gonna do.
By the way, is this your preferred Italian sausage brand? Okay.
Yes, New York style Italian sausage.
So not necessarily the brand, just New York style.
Yeah, just New York style. Now we're gonna take the casings off. You're just gonna take the sausage and take the end of it and run the scissor up it. And then peel off. Now we'll see how Mastermind over here wants to do it.
Here's how I would do it. I would cut it in half, and I would squeeze everything out.
Well, that's pretty gross.
Yours seems to have much less waste. We're gonna go with your way. See, this is why she's here to teach me. Learn something new every day.
Chalk up one for Mother's side. How long's it been since you've said that to me? We'll do it your way. You preheat the pan a little, put just a little tab of olive oil.
So you don't need the pan yet, you need me to preheat the pan.
Yes.
I'll do that. High heat, medium high?
Telling you, Christina.
Medium high, high?
You know what? I have to tell you, I have not cooked on a gas stove in so many years. I think that's too much olive oil.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But only enough to coat the bottom of the pan. what I usually do is I just take the sausage and I just start crumbling it like this, and you squish it up, but it doesn't really...
You're not really doing anything.
Well, yes, I am doing something. It's gonna make it a lot easier when you put it in the pan.
Why don't we just do this? I mean, this achieves the same thing, doesn't it? Here, and then you work with my chunks.
What's the difference if you work with my big chunk?
Because
because it has to be your way.
Whatever.
Yes, no, not whatever.
Now what are we gonna do here? We're gonna brown the sausage?
We're gonna brown the sausage.
Okay.
My son would love it.
So as we stir, you want me to break it up?
Break it up.
As it gets browned and stuff. And we don't add anything to this, no salt, no pepper, no nothing. All right. Okay, so we're gonna let it brown.
Yeah.
Now we're just gonna really let it brown, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, should we be preparing vegetables at this time?
Well,
is that the next
that's
step?
what I usually do. When you go to purchase your celery, do not purchase celery hearts. You want just a good old stack of regular old celery because you're gonna want the leaves, which has a lot of flavor.
So we're gonna take this and cut the whole thing in half?
We're just gonna cut it in half.
Okay. Close enough, right?
Yeah, and cut off this, little...
The gooey,
the gooey,
gross stuff?
get rid of that. And then just chop this, not really fine, but sort of kind of fine.
Like that?
Yes.
All right, does that look acceptable in terms of the celery?
That looks about right.
All right, celery's ready. Now what?
Now the onion.
What do we do with this? The whole thing? The whole
Chop
thing?
it. Yep, the whole thing.
Okay.
See, I can't do this onion chopping like he does.
So how do you do it?
I use a little onion chopper thing.
Oh yeah, so this works.
See, this, oh my God. I would take a finger.
So now we're gonna take the meat out of the pan and reserve it for later use. But we do, correct me if I'm wrong, we wanna leave this goodness in the bottom.
Yes, we absolutely do.
That's all flavor there, kids. So you wanna leave that in there. Okay, so we take that back over to the stove. And how much garlic?
Well,
3 cloves.
3 cloves, so probably not too much, because you don't want to...
Okay, how about that?
That's fine.
Close enough. A whole stick of butter?
I use a whole stick of butter,
Okay.
but you might have to turn that heat down, because the one thing you've got to be careful of is don't brown the butter. Don't let it get brown at all.
The idea here is just to melt it.
Melt it. Thank you.
And pick up, if this is a good trick, if you swirl it around a little bit, you start to pick up all those good meaty bits, because you want that flavor in there. And you'll notice by swirling it around like this too, we're avoiding the browning. We're all the way down at medium-low heat. And once this is fully melted, we're gonna go with the vegetables.
Yeah, now we're gonna put in the vegetables.
Been on any good dates lately, Mom?
I'm sorry?
Had any good dates lately?
I'm not sure that's a matter that you should be concerned about.
She's single and available, and if I could find a man to take care of her financially, it would really free up some funds for me. You're still into men, right?
I don't want a man in my life. They complicate everything.
Woman? You want a woman?
No,
Rich woman?
I don't want anybody in my life. I love being alone. I love being single. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Nobody gives me any shit, and it's...
Are you playing the lottery at least every week, just in case?
No, I'm supposed to be saving my money, you said.
All right, so what do we, so now everything goes in?
Okay, so now we're gonna put all this in here.
Butter's melted.
And this, again, how long you cook this is a matter of preference. I do not like soft, mushy vegetables, so I have a tendency to undercook everything.
Man, she also doesn't like soft, mushy penises.
But a good hard dildo is...
Well, that takes care of that Christmas shopping list.
You are cutting all this out, right?
Chance.
Oh, you will hear from my attorney.
There's no attorney. What are we doing here? You got butter.
I'm waiting for you to shut up so I can get on with it. So, as I said, how long you're gonna cook this is a matter of choice. So we're gonna put it in and stir it. You gotta keep stirring it.
These were just in my mouth. Okay, we're stirring.
Stirring it so that you don't want that butter now to get brown.
And still no seasonings at this point, right? All right. So how long do we do? We do this as long as we want it for crunchy.
As long as you want it for crunchy.
And I'm like you, I don't like it mushy, but I don't want it to be raw.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 minutes, I'm thinking.
Well, and then we're gonna bake it anyhow, and it's also going to cook.
Man, we're gonna bake it.
Do you want to put some oregano in?
I'll go grab some fresh. I don't want to put in a little fresh sage too, because you don't care, right? Because you're not eating this.
I don't care. Put in whatever you want to.
All right, so here's a good trick when you have fresh herbs. Fortunately, I have a nice fresh herb garden, so I just went outside and grabbed some oregano and some sage. Now you can do it that way, and you can keep chopping and really mince it up, but here's a trick I wanted to show you. You can also take a coffee grinder, which you dedicate only as a spice grinder, so this never gets coffee in it. And you can take your herbs and just put them into the grinder, and it'll really mince them up, especially for a dish like this where you don't really want to have big bites of it. And you can have somebody yell at you that you're taking too long. It just unfortunately means you have to have an extra coffee grinder at home because you can never put coffee in here. It will screw up the flavors of your herbs and stuff. But
I don't grind coffee anyhow. I have this new invention called coffee pods that you just stick in your coffee pot. Now we're going to do the dressing.
all right, what are you trying to do? Open it up more?
Open it up.
Okay, there you go. All the way open.
Okay, so now we're going to do that.
Get in there. Yes, all right.
Okay. See, now unfortunately this isn't cubed, so there's a lot of little
Dustiness.
dusty crumbs.
Do we mix it up now, or we
Mix
have
it
to?
up, mix it up.
And this is supposed to be a nice, easy dressing
And this
mix.
is easy.
So did you put all that broth in there? Or
I
not yet?
haven't yet.
Okay. And this doesn't have to be a two-person job. One, you can stir and pour and stir and pour. It's just easier with two people, and it makes for some special mother-son time. So what are we going for here? It starts to get gooey. We want
Okay,
it
now
gooey.
we're going to put the Italian sausage in.
Okay.
Now this you want to stir in very gently because you don't want the dressing to get any more mushy than it is.
Because it is kind of like right now, like kind of a sticky.
This
Would you could
is-
describe that as sticky and
Yes.
slightly mushy?
Slightly mushy, which it wouldn't be if we had cubes.
Bigger cubes.
Now, at this point, I usually taste it and then make any adjustments. You might want some salt, you might want some pepper.
I don't think it needs anything. Certainly doesn't need salt, which is going to be surprising to a lot of people because we put no salt in, but it's all coming from the sausage.
The only thing I probably would do would put some ground fresh pepper in it, but I'm a ground fresh pepper freak, so
That idea. And then mix again.
mix again.
Okay.
And then I would take your bowl and spray a little Pam in it.
Is this for what's going in the oven? Mm-hmm. All right. Pam. I had a Pam in 1995 for a night and a half. Whoops.
How come only a half a night?
Night and a half. Because after the third time, I kicked her out.
Such a gentleman.
So now we're just going to put it in here.
Now we're gonna put it in here.
Okay. All right.
Then you're gonna stick it in the oven and bake it. And in the directions, and this is a really good thing to do, after you bake it and before you serve it, take a couple of scoops of your turkey broth.
Like from the turkey that
From
you've
the
made?
turkey, it'll add a nice flavor to it. And if your dressing dries out at all, when it's baking, it'll help, moisturize it again.
Now, can this be done ahead of time?
Yes, that's what I was going to add. If you are in a situation where you don't have a lot of oven space the day of, you can easily do this the night before, cover it really tightly, put it in your refrigerator, take it out early enough in the day that it's room temperature, and you can even stick it in the microwave if you don't have oven space yet. It heats up really nice.
All right, so is that about right in terms of the
That's fine.
plating? Do we cover these at all? Or?
I don't.
So now right into the oven?
Right into the oven.
At 325?
325.
Okay. And we're using two dishes, but on the same rack. They're the size of one dish, so how long? So we're doing this for 45 minutes?
Well,
Ish?
original recipe said 45-ish, but I don't always do it that long because I don't like it overcooked.
So you want to check it in 30?
I would check it probably in 20. I would probably
20?
And stir it and make sure that it isn't getting too mushy.
Okay.
Anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. Again, it's personal preference type thing.
So we're going to check it at 22
20.
minutes and 22 seconds. That's how things work at Williams Manor. We try to use the same number over and over again.
Why
Start.
is that?
Because I said. It's easier. You just press the same number over and over and over again. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Whatever.
We'll be back in 22 minutes and 19 seconds.
It is not.
Careful, these are hot. Don't burn yourself. All right, so how do they look?
Well, how about, look, what, I can't have a pot holder?
How do they look?
So I just
We're gonna stir it up a
kinda-
little bit.
Yeah, to me, it's nice and moist,
Okay.
so I would say
So now it's a tasting.
Tasting.
And we're tasting for not just taste, but crunchiness.
for crunchiness, and get some celery because you don't, if you don't want the celery too.
See, I like my celery crunchy.
Yeah, I do too, but everybody might not.
See, I don't want it any more cooked. You need here.
Yeah, I don't want any more.
here.
To me, it looks like it's just fine.
I wouldn't want to cook that anymore. Brandon!
What?
Come here.
Oh, yes.
You shoved it in my mouth red hot.
Even with my mom, that's a little hot. Here.
For Christ.
I think that's perfect.
Can you feed me?
I have you.
Thank you.
I think that's perfect. I would not want to do any more of
But
that.
let's get him some celery.
Puss.
Okay.
Would you do anything to that?
Oh, perfect.
I wouldn't do anything.
If it was dry, this is where we'd add
This
a little
is
more.
where-
Now,
yeah.
if it was turkey day and you had turkey drippings, you would use
I would
that.
still put some.
And this is the go-to if you don't have
Yeah,
that more. But
yeah.
this is perfect.
This is.
right. We would serve this.
I would eat this. I would serve this to my guests, and if you don't like it, too bad. But I like crunchy celery.
That's it. That's it. That's perfect.
Do you want any more? Cameraman number 2?
Enjoy your dressing, stuffing, whatever it is.
He's so happy. Yes. He's making a face, isn't he? Put a piss in.
It's the Rob, Anybody, and Dawn Show.